Welcome back to my channel. So today is the day that we are going to get started with like reorganizing my house, just kind of giving it a reset. And what I figured we would do is start in my laundry room / pantry, just because I feel like that is the easiest place to start. I'm so excited, you guys, because one thing that I want to do with this whole process is take my time and enjoy it. I'm not trying to get this done in one day. It's, honestly, it's not even achievable in one day because obviously, just like most families in the United States, we are on a budget, so I can't go out and just buy all this stuff in one day. It's gonna have to build up slowly. One of the other things I wanted to say too is last time I did this, like last time I reset my pantry and kind of like stocked up on things, I kind of went off of what other people, were saying I should have stocked up, like the important things to have stocked up. And what I found is that a lot of the things that I wouldn't say a lot, but some of the things that other people, are there like ride and die things that you have to stock up on, they're just things that my family doesn't use. So what ended up happening is there were some items that just sat in there and I ended up having to just kind of force myself to rotate through it because we just weren't using it. And so this time I really want to be intentional about it and only buy things that my family uses. Another thing that I did was because I like to try different foods, a lot of times I would go to the store, and if there was a deal on something that I thought looked like it would be something that we would like, I would buy a lot of it. I would buy it in bulk, and then we would try it and it wasn't the greatest. So I only want to stock foods that we have tried and we know that we like. If it's something that, even if it looks like something we might like, but we haven't tried it, what I would do is get like 1 or 2 of them. We can try them first, and then if we like them, then I will stock up. So I'm doing it a little bit differently this time than I did last time. But what we're gonna do first, because I don't know how far we're gonna get today, is I'm just gonna show you the areas that I'm starting with and kind of explain to you what I'm thinking. Plus, I want to go through, well, the laundry area, there's really nothing in there that needs to be pulled out that's like close to expiration or anything. But in the food part, I do want to kind of go through it and see if there's anything that is close to expiration. And if it is, pull it out. That way I know to use it soon before I start, restocking. So let me turn you guys around and show you the areas that I'm going to be starting with. So I will start over here. This is the laundry area. This is the cabinet that is like directly above my my dryer actually. And what I want to do, because like right now I have even things like my furniture polish in there, and I have like carpet refresh and things. What I really want to do is dedicate this cabinet only, well, at least these 2 shelves here, only to laundry things. Actually, the tiki stuff will probably stay in there because that's an outdoor thing, and the room I'm standing in literally is like how you get out onto our porch. So that'll probably stay too. But other than that, I want the rest of this to just be solely for laundry things. And down on this bottom shelf, I want to have my detergent that I'm currently using, and then the ingredients that I need to make the at-home detergent that I do. And then this shelf up here is to stock like more ingredients for the homemade detergent, and then if I'm trying a new detergent or anything like that, or a new fabric softener, because obviously you guys know I like to make my own detergent, but sometimes I get bored and sometimes I like to try something new. So I do still, as you can see, buy like the pods and stuff every once in a while, and like the fabric softener, just, just for something different, just for something fun. And that's what I want that shelf to be for. So that's kind of my goal for this area over here with the laundry. And then next to that, I have this like tall, skinny cabinet, and it's where like the pipe for the washing machine to empty into. So it's just like this tall, skinny cabinet. And this is where I keep my mop heads for my O-Cedar spin mop. And then I also have a basket here, and in this basket is where I keep like scrub rags for like scouring and things like that. And what I need to do is go through that basket and get rid of any of the scrub rags that are looking a little bit rough, like if they have holes in them or if they're totally frayed. At this point, they need to just be tossed. And down here is where I keep a bucket. That's where I keep the used scrub rags, and that way I just wash them all together. That way I don't mix them with other laundry or anything. They get washed completely separate. As you can see, I actually need to do a load of scrub rags, but I need to go through the bucket too and just see if there's any, again, like cloths that just should be like thrown out if they're just looking pretty raggedy. So obviously I need to do that, and quite honestly I need to probably buy some new ones. Depending on how many I end up throwing away, I probably will end up buying a couple packs of like cheapy washcloths from Walmart just to restock on the scrub rags. And then over here in the corner, this is kind of where like the food pantry starts. This cupboard here right in the corner, this is where I like to keep like baking mixes. So normally I would have cake mixes and frosting. I would have brownie mixes, muffin mixes, things like that. And as you can see, it is like so sparse. Like I said, you guys, this used to be so full that I had like overflow that I had to shove other places, and now this is what it looks like. So I really want to get this restocked. It's just nice. Like I do make a lot of like muffins and things like that from scratch, but it is so nice to have a super stocked little cupboard with the mixes in case you have like a last minute, like somebody stops by, or if you're having a day where you need to make a dessert for something and you're not feeling well, or you just are not like in the mood to bake. It's always nice to have like those easy ingredients that you're stocked up on. So obviously I want to restock that cupboard. And then this is the other like set of cabinets over here, cupboards. On this side, I always keep pasta. And again, this used to be fully stocked. And as you can see, it is looking pretty sparse. So I need to shift some things around and then restock on the pasta. On this side, I have like some of the easy mixes. Like I do have one rice mix and I have one mac and cheese, which again is pathetic. This used to be fully stocked, and that's where I want to get it again. And again, this is kind of the same principle as the, like the cake mixes and things. I do make things like mac and cheese and rice mixes and stuff like that from scratch pretty often, but it is so nice to have some backups if I'm just not feeling it, or if I'm in a hurry, if it's a day like that I've worked and I come home and like usually I have something like some sort of like meat or something in the slow cooker. So it's nice to have some of these just to throw together quickly as a side. So definitely want to restock on that. Up here, I only have one box of graham crackers, so that's something that, I definitely want to have at least 2 boxes of those on hand all the time. And then up here at the very top are some dried beans. I actually need to go through those and decide what to do with them, because I really don't like keeping them there. So that is something I need to decide on. So yeah, that is kind of where we are starting for this first section. Let's first restock my homemade detergent. So what you need to do this is 3 tablespoons of washing soda, and this is the Arm & Hammer washing soda, but make sure it's washing soda, not baking soda. And like I said, you need 3 tablespoons of that. And what I like to do is put it in a 1-gallon pitcher. It just makes it much easier for like stirring it and everything. And then you're also going to need 3 tablespoons of borax. This is that mule borax, whatever. What is it, 50 mule something? I don't know. So 3 tablespoons of that. I think it's like 50 mule team or something. And then I'm bringing this over to the sink. We're gonna fill this almost all the way to the top. Like so 1 gallon of water with hot water. And I just like to stir it as I'm filling it. And then once you have stirred that and it's pretty well dissolved, then you're going to add 3 tablespoons of Dawn dish soap, just the original blue. So 3 tablespoons of that. And I will put this recipe down below just in case you guys want to try it. This is the best one I've tried. I've tried quite a few like homemade detergents, and this is the one I continue to go back to. So, see if we can get it all out of here. Yep, almost. I'm actually going to swirl that in a little bit just so I can make sure I get it off the tablespoon. Make sure it's all in there. And then just kind of lightly stir it. And the reason that you do it this way is the washing soda and the borax doesn't really foam up very much, but I've done it where I do, like I add the dish soap from the very beginning, and then when you add the water, it gets really, really foamy. So it's better to just do the borax and the washing soda, add your water, and then at the very last, you add your dish soap. Okay, so that is done. I'm just gonna put the lid on there, and then this can go back up in the cabinet. And just in case anybody is interested, to measure it out, what I do is I just have this like old measuring cup that the measurements have kind of like worn off. So I just mark it with a Sharpie, but basically for a small load, you use half a cup of it. And for a large load, you use 1 full cup of it. Now, if I have like a large load and it's heavily soiled, like my youngest son, he like works with like cars and trucks and things like that. So if his clothes, like when I do his load separately, I will usually add a little bit more just because they're heavily soiled and there's usually like some oil and stuff on it. But for like normal, like everyday laundry, yeah, half a cup for a small load and 1 cup for a large to medium load. Okay, so I've got it all organized now. So down here are just the ingredients to make the homemade detergent, and then a bag of pods that are currently open. I obviously need to get the stuff to refill these. Well, and actually, this one here should have baking soda in it, but I'm completely out of that one, so I do need to restock on those. And then this upper shelf, I did clear it off, so the only thing left up there now is the tiki fluid. So I will be able to use that to, you know, have like back stock of laundry ingredients. And then I had these are like washing machine cleaner tabs, which honestly I've got them and I tried them and they do work, but I feel like you get the same results if you just like clean your washing machine with like a cup of vinegar and run it on the cleaning cycle or whatever. But I transferred them out of this box because this box was just annoying and bulky and I don't know, and just put it in this little thing. And what I'm gonna do is actually put it up here in this like tray in this like center cabinet just to get it out of here so that I'm not constantly fighting with the box, because the box was always like falling over and it was just a mess. So yeah, I'm like seriously happy with this cabinet so far, even just like the cleaning it and restocking like the homemade detergent. So obviously I'm going to put the borax and the washing soda and the baking soda on my grocery list for next time I go to Walmart so that I can restock those containers. And then little by little, I will stock up on like the dish soap. And then like if I want to try any like pods or fabric softeners or anything, then those will go in the second shelf. Now that the laundry cabinet is finished, I have moved on to the baking mix cabinet, and I decided to pull these 3 corn muffin mixes out. The date on them is actually 10/24, so they are technically expired, but with dry goods, it's usually, I mean, it's not like it's actually expired. So I need to use these, but this is a prime example of something that I stocked up on because I thought we would use it. Well, it turns out we actually prefer the honey corn muffin mix, and the only time we use the regular one is if I add like shredded cheese and like jalapenos and stuff. So I don't think I'm gonna stock up on this. I may get like 2 of them or something, but I'm not gonna get many. And then I would rather stock up on the honey ones because that is just what we use. So with those pulled out, it literally just leaves one of the Martha White chocolate chip muffin mixes and then a Betty Crocker blueberry muffin mix. So I definitely need to get a couple each of like yellow cake mix, a chocolate cake mix, a couple frostings, some more muffin mixes, and things like that to just kind of start the restocking process in here. Good morning, friends. I was up bright and early this morning and I ran to Walmart to start stocking up on some things from the baking cabinet and also the laundry detergent cabinet. So what I'm going to do is turn you guys around and show you what I got to start stocking up. And I'm going to start with the baking cabinet. I ended up getting 2 of these Duncan Hines 13x9 family size chewy fudge brownie mixes, 2 of the Pillsbury Moist Supreme Devil's Food, and then also the white and the yellow cake mixes. And then I only picked up 1 of these. It's the creamy almond. I only got 1 because I've never tried this flavor before. I usually love almond things, so I'm assuming I'm going to like this, but I didn't want to stock up until we have tried it. And then I also got 2 of the Pillsbury whipped vanilla frosting. Fun fact, I actually don't like canned or like store-bought chocolate frosting, so I only got the vanilla. And then over here I got 2 of the Jiffy corn muffin mix. This is the honey version because that's what we like. I only got 1 of the Martha White chocolate chip because I already have 1 in the cabinet and I wanted to kind of start with like 2 of each thing. And then I got 2 of the blueberry muffin mixes, 2 of the chocolate chip mixes, and then 2 of the strawberry. And then I also picked up this Martha White birthday cake flavored muffin mix. Again, it sounds like something I'm going to like. It looks kind of like the Funfetti type mix. I'm assuming we're going to like this, but I only got 1 just so we can try it. And then to start stocking up in the laundry cabinet, I only got the ingredients to do my homemade detergent. It was tempting to buy detergent and like fabric softener and things like that because when you go down that aisle, it smells so good and I just love to try new things. but I kept it sane and I just decided to stock up on these things that we are currently using. So I got two of the Arm & Hammer Laundry Booster, the Super Washing Soda, two of the 20 Mule Team Boraxes, and then two of these 4-pound baking sodas. Now, another thing that I like to do when I am building a stockpile or when I have a stockpile is write the date somewhere on the package that's easy to access so that I'm not having to search for an expiration date on the packaging. So like, for example, this Moist Supreme cake mix, it's up here at the top. So this one isn't like so bad as far as like trying to figure it out. But what I do is I take a little label. I use these, they're the little Avery multi-use labels, the small ones, and I just write the expiration date. So 9/26 is when this, it's not even an expiration, it's a best by date. But what I do is I put that on all of the items. It just makes it easier if I'm in a hurry to access the date. So I know which one to grab first, especially with like rotation and everything. When you only have a couple items, like I'm only going to have 2 white cake mixes in the cabinet, it's not difficult, when you only have a couple. But once you start getting into like a decent size stockpile, when you have like maybe 10 or 12 of them, it's much, much easier to have the date written, all in the same spot. So like every single cake mix, I will put that little sticker in the same spot. It just makes it so much easier when you're restocking, when you are checking, to rotate and all of that stuff. It just makes it so, so much easier to have the date written like big and all in the same spot. So another thing I'm actually going to do, and this is actually something I just thought of because this is brand new, like I've never done this before, but I know last time I was stockpiling cake mixes and things, this was like kind of a pet peeve of mine. I store my cake mixes like almost like a book. So they go into the shelf like this. They're not, when I look in my cupboard, they're not forward facing. And for some reason, none of the boxes ever say on the side what it is. They don't say it's like, well, at least the ones I get, they don't say if it's a white cake or a chocolate cake or whatever. So I decided to go ahead and put a sticker on the side too that's going to be facing out. And for the whites, I just put a W. For the yellows, I put a Y. For the chocolate, I put a C, just to make it easier, again, so that I can just look in there at a glance without having to pull things out and twist things around and everything. It just makes it so, so much easier. I have everything put away. So as you can see here, I have everything labeled. This one goes in the front. Eventually, like in all honesty, like, so obviously this is the one we've never tried and I'm putting it in the cupboard. Once this cupboard gets like really stocked with like our basics that I know we want to stock, I really need to figure out like an area to put, foods that we haven't tried yet that I'm not actually stocking. Like, I don't know if a basket or something, but yeah. So for right now though, you guys can see this is what it looks like. And then down here's the muffin mixes. Again, so we've got like the corn muffin mixes, they're too deep there. All of these, and then this one is the one, we haven't tried yet. So I just left it kind of out towards the front so it didn't get mixed in. Another thing that I am doing this time around with my stockpile is keeping a running inventory because that would have been so helpful. So what I'm doing, I'm trying to think the best way to explain this. So obviously, like I have this graph paper, and obviously right now, like starting today, I have 2 of the white cake mixes. So I put the 2 box. Obviously too, I'm going to put like the date and everything at the top because I want to know when I started this inventory. So that way 6 months from now, if I look at this, I can go, okay, 6 months ago, I had 2 cake mixes. Obviously, there's going to be more boxes because as I buy more, I will add more boxes. So basically, every time you bring cake mixes into the house, you add another box. When you use them, you would put like an X through the box. And then after 6 months, you could go back and look at it and say, okay, so in a 6-month period, I used, however many cake mixes, white cake mixes. The goal on this, not only for me, is to at all times know like how many things I have in my cabinet, but long term, I would really like to have like a year's worth of non-perishable or, like dry goods and canned goods and back stock in the house. But I don't even know what a year's worth is for my family because I've never kept track of how many of an item we use per year. So, and it's easy to do. I actually did this with toilet paper because I was just curious, and I just did it for like a month so that I could kind of figure it out, like what it would be. And what I did is I counted every single roll of toilet paper that I put into like our bathroom closet. And at the end of the month, I counted what was left. And obviously, then that gave me my number of how many rolls we used per month. And then to figure out how much we used per year, I just took that month number and multiplied it by 12 to give me like an estimate of what we would use in a year. So I want to do the same thing with like all of my cake mixes. I did it with the muffin mixes here. I'm, set up to continue doing that. I want to do it with all of my canned goods, my pastas, my marinaras, and things like that, just because I'm curious to see what a year's worth of food would look like for my family. And I just refilled the containers I use for making my own detergent. What a messy job that was. So this is kind of the aftermath of that. But these are nice and stocked now. And the fact that, every time I make the detergent, I only use 3 tablespoons out of each of these. So these are going to last a long, long time. Okay, so the very, very last thing that I wanted to share with you guys in this vlog is that um I don't use like fabric softener or dryer sheets very often unless like I've said before, like if I'm just like feeling bored or something and just want to try something. I normally use these wool dryer balls. And these are the dryer balls that I am currently using. As you can see, they're starting to fall apart. But these I've had for over 2 years. So, they last forever. But because they are like on their last legs, I did go ahead and order some new ones from Amazon. And these are, is it Levy Basics or Levi Basic? I don't know. And they are 100% New Zealand wool. There are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 in here. Let's pull one out. Yeah, so this is what they look like when they're brand new as opposed to blown out after 2 years. But these actually do make a huge, huge difference if you are trying to get rid, get away from like the chemicals of the fabric softener or the dryer sheets, or if you are just looking to save money so you don't have to buy the fabric softener and the dryer sheets. They do actually work really well. They help to remove static, and then they also help to dry your clothes faster. So I swear by these. Even if I use a dryer sheet or fabric softener, I still throw these in with it. I am sold on these. I will never go back to like not using these. So these were from Amazon if you are interested. And I think they were like a little over $8. They were like, or maybe it was almost 9. It was like $8.97 or something, I think, for the 6 balls. And like I said, these last ones that I had lasted like 2 years. So it's honestly like a really good investment. So anyway, I am going to go ahead and end the vlog here. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that there's some tips that you got that are helpful. If you have any tips for me, definitely leave them below. I want this to be more like a community where we can feed off of each other and like help each other, because honestly, some of the best tips that I've ever gotten are from other women who are doing the same thing that I'm doing. So it's not, from a book or anything. It's from individuals who are doing it. So definitely leave all your tips down below. And that way I can read them, and then everybody else can read the comments and get tips also. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for a little bit, and I will see you guys in the next one very soon.